Welcome back to the Voices of Women Summit, where in honor of International Women's Day 2023, we are raising the voices of hundreds of women so that their messages can be heard. Your host for this session is Ginny Trask. Ginny is the co-host of Speakers Playhouse and co-creator of Work Party by Blissed Out Business. She has another amazing guest coming right up. Take it away, Ginny.
Well, hello, ladies. I hope you guys really enjoyed the keynote speaker, Sherry. She's totally amazing, and I hope you guys had a great time. We have another amazing speaker here with us today, a friend of mine who is near and dear to my heart, Denise Thomas. Welcome to the program, Denise.
I am so excited to be here, Gina. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. So Denise is going to be talking to us about how your kids can get paid to go to college. Okay, so this is for anybody who has children 7th to 11th grade, or maybe you're a grandparent and you have grandkids. Pass this information on to whoever needs it, because people should not be paying for college is the bottom line here with Denise. Denise is a TEDx speaker, an international best-selling author, and a coach to parents of college-bound teens. Denise's mission is to flip the student debt statistic in the US using her cracking the code to free college strategy. Using her proprietary reputable strategy, her two teens attended their first choice college on 17 scholarships exceeding $199,000, walking out of college with cash in hand. They got paid to go to college. Denise is the host of the Debt Free Degree podcast, Debt Free Degree TV, and College Prep and Success online conference. Denise says, send your kids to college on other people's cash, and college doesn't have to be a debt sentence. Okay, Denise, I love what you're about in the world. You are this is life-changing for people because so many people come out of college with huge debt. So do you first want to tell us a little bit about how you came to be so passionate about this? And then tell us, what are these ways that we can leverage this for ourselves?
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jenny, for inviting me on and for even asking about how this came about, because, you kind of wonder, well, wait a minute, this isn't even possible, is it? Because we never hear that, right? All we ever hear about is college debt. Well, I was one of those seriously broke college students. I came from a very low income family, and I attended college on the Pell Grant for low income families. I had to work 3 jobs to finish paying the rest of it because the Pell Grant does not cover very much. 3 jobs, and still, to make ends meet, I had to lift food from the college cafeteria so I could eat on the weekends. 15 years later, my husband and I are doing great in the corporate world. We had the big house, we had 2 kids and the dog. It was all great. And then he got laid off twice. Then the stock market crashed. With all of that, we kept paying bills because, that's just what I do. I pay bills with what was left, and then the money runs out. So I realized we had no choice. We had to declare bankruptcy, and then we lost everything through liquidation. My kids were just about to start high school at that point, and what came across my mind was, how on earth are we going to pay for college? That's just literally 4 years away. It's around the corner. We have no 401k to borrow against because that puppy was gone. No savings left. No house to borrow equity from. And that bankruptcy meant we can't co-sign for those student loans everyone likes to talk about. It's funny. They think that, well, certainly you can still get loans because everybody has loans. No, they don't tell you your kid needs a co-signer for most of those loans. They can only get a teeny tiny amount by themselves. The rest is up to you. So now what? How would our kids go to college? Would they have to struggle like I did? That is where this began for me. So I began to do the research. And what I found is that there's a lot of beliefs or myths that have been perpetuated literally for decades that are keeping our kids in debt. It's not what you think that's keeping them in debt. It's your beliefs that's doing it, because your beliefs create actions and we're performing the wrong actions. For example, when I was doing the research, my kids were still young-ish. They were not high school seniors, etc. Even my best friend said, Denise, you're starting too early for that. Wait till junior year, because that's what we're told. But the truth is that leaves a lot of money on the table. And another myth that we hear a lot is we make too much money to, quote, get anything. In my research, I found out that there are a lot of debt-free degree graduates. 30%, as a matter of fact, graduate debt-free every year. What are they doing that the rest of us don't know about? In the end, what I did is anything that I found that I thought would even remotely affect college acceptance or getting scholarships, I put that puppy into practice with my kids because I had to figure out what was going to work. What was interesting is that this culmination of things, putting it all together, my two homeschooled kids won 17 scholarships totaling more than $199,000 for 4 years of college debt-free, and they had cash left over. So that's what I teach parents today. That's how this came about. I figured, well, I was doing it for my own kids, and I kept getting phone calls, text messages, and emails from friends and friends of friends who had heard about it and wanted to know, what do I have to do?
Wow, that's so amazing. Thank you so much. I wish I got the beginning of your talk. I wanted to hear it so badly. I am a homeschooling mom myself, and I did have one that got a nice scholarship and went off to school fully paid for, but I've got two more that are in the wings. And so really interested in hearing more about how you can help these young ones, because these ones are definitely in that age group you were talking about, the middle schoolers. They're not quite high school yet. So but I do understand there's stuff out there that we could be doing. So I'm really excited to learn more and see what you have for us today. My goodness.
Well, one of the things that I've learned is that, we tend to not have the right perspective on what is it that colleges are looking for. How do we make our teens stand out? And when do we start the process, right? Part of it is something that some people would find or think is new to this age that we live in, which is what I call your teens brand. But, when we think of branding, we think of, a color or a logo for a big company. But the truth is, every one of us has a brand. Coca-Cola, Budweiser, Apple, they all have a brand, but it's not the logo and the colors. The brand is how you feel when you are interacting with that product. It's for your teen, their brand is how they make other people feel when they walk into a room, right? In their interactions with others. Today, your teen's brand is everything that can be found on the internet about your child. So one of the first things that we have to look at, because trust me, colleges can look at this as well, and employers do as well. They want to know, how do you show up in the world? So we focus a little bit on their brand. What is there currently, and what do we have to fix? And then what should be there? Because they should have some type of online presence. So if parents that are in the audience, if you could please just put a number in the chat. What grade are your kids in, or your grandkids? What grade level are they in, if you know? Colleges are looking for three things. And we have to think about, or rather rethink about, this high school to college process. We also have to understand what the colleges really want. Because in the end, what that college application does, it is marketing your teen to not just what the college wants, but to be the exception to all that they thought was even possible in a student, to make your kid look awesome. Because if you can achieve that, colleges will pay for that. And that's the end game, in my opinion, because if your kids can graduate from college debt-free or debt-free with cash left over, they are starting their young adult life with more than just financial freedom, because that financial freedom gives them freedom to enjoy their and build their new family, to travel, to come home and see mom for Christmas, and there's so many other things they can do. I have a former client who calls every now and then just to let me know what fun stuff he's getting to do. And his job that he has is a 4-day-a-week, 40-hour-a-week job. So when he gets off of work on Thursday afternoon, he can just leave and go to another state and travel for the weekend, for a 3.5-day weekend before going to work again on Monday, just on a whim. He doesn't have to plan. It's easy to be able to do that. And, I want families to understand this content applies to all grade levels, from middle school all the way through college age. So if we're talking a little bit about like that online presence, let me know in the chat what's something you think kids might have on social media that maybe they need to have removed. Maybe they should untag themselves in those kind of photos, or maybe they shouldn't have posted XYZ. Even though you're just guessing because you're not on your child's social media, but in general, what might you be looking for? And then let me know what you think should be on their social media or online presence. What kind of things do you want, or do you think colleges would want to see?
Yeah, lovely. Looks like we've got some 10th graders and some 6th and 8th graders. And as soon as you said that question, I immediately thought of my young one that has access to Twitter, which he probably should not have yet. And he loves to post memes, and they're not the best memes. They're not bad, but they're just usually so silly. Sometimes it's like, why did you post that? And I remember having those conversations with the ones that are now in college at some point, like, you might not want to post a picture of you sitting on the toilet. What is going on here? Like, you're fully dressed, but that's just not what we want on social media. It doesn't go away. It's not the best representation of yourself.
And we have, there's Snapchat now, which is an app, if parents aren't aware, where kids can send pictures that once they see it, it disappears in a certain number of seconds. Okay, let me explain this to you, hon. Ain't no such thing as disappear when it's on the internet. First of all, if a young lady is posting something she shouldn't be posting, sending it to her male boyfriend or female girlfriend, it's not valuable to them unless they show it to their friends. They're taking a screenshot. Do not, under any circumstances, trust your friends. They're kids too. They don't know any better than you do as to what is appropriate, isn't appropriate, and whether or not it's going to shoot you in the foot in the years to come. Here's something that you need to understand. There are colleges, not everyone, but there are colleges that will look at your social media. Sometimes they even look at parent social media. Okay. There are some Ivy League schools in recent years that rescinded acceptances due to what was found on social media from 2 years prior. So start this early, because if your kids have been on social for any length of time, there's going to be a crud load of stuff to go through. Your college applications are being submitted these days early senior year. So start this in 10th grade to start deleting stuff and putting what should be online. That way it's a lot easier to keep up with. And, every few months you can just check their friends as well. Because if your child posts something, your child could be squeaky clean. If your child posts something and a friend replies with maybe some profanity, well, now we're questioning who your friends' relationships are, right? And they should be questioning it too. These are not the kind of friends that you want to have, especially when you're talking about a public forum like social media. So there's just all kind of things like that to talk about. And, beyond social, because that's literally the first step in my program, we also have to look at what colleges are looking for. And I'll give you 3 things that colleges are looking for. They're looking for, are you going to pass and graduate? Your grades, your GPA, your test scores, and yes, colleges still want the test scores. Anyone who tells you colleges are test optional has believed the myth. Colleges actually accept kids with test scores 250% more than those without. They may claim to be test optional, but they want the scores. So GPA, test scores, and the rigor of your course curriculum tells them you can pass and graduate. So that's number 1. Number 2, how do you fit into the campus community? The rest of that application is like a resume. It's telling the college who you are, what floats your boat, what lights you up, what really, if you didn't have to go to school, you would do this thing anyway, because you freaking love it. It is who you are, it is embedded in your psyche. Kids that are doing nothing but bouncing around from one activity to the next, there isn't anything. And, back 3 decades or so ago, colleges were looking for what we call the jack of all trades. It's not what they're looking for today. Colleges have hundreds of clubs and organizations to fill. Where does your child fit into that campus community? And last but not least, they're looking for, what kind of an alumni are you going to be? Some of this is a gut feeling, but if you think about it, for example, a child who has done some community service, maybe your state requires 25 hours of community service or 50 hours of community service, and your kid gets about that, maybe a little bit more, just to say they, check the box, they can graduate. Well, that tells the college, just the minimum. But if your kid has found something that they love to do and they're volunteering in that arena, 75 hours, 100 hours throughout their high school career, not trying to get stuff just for the resume at the end of, this last ditch effort between junior and senior year. This is why we got to start early. When you are showcasing this to the college, they already know, statistics have shown them, the teenager who has volunteered to that kind of a degree in their high school years will continue serving their community in college and beyond as an adult. So in the, what kind of alumni are you going to be? They understand that your adult life is a reflection of your alma mater. Employers understand that as well. Employers are looking for someone who's going to represent them. And the same thing for your college. So there's a lot of different things to go through, but these are things no one is talking about. What we're trying to do is market your teen to the college so that your kid is the one they say is so awesome, I want to pay you to come here.
Love it. Love it. Your kid's so awesome that they want to pay them to come there. I love that. That's so perfect. Can you share with us, because I'm sorry, I got here a little late. What is the free gift that you have for everyone today?
Awesome.
You have something?
Yes. My book is coming out. What you're getting is a preview because I have not hit the publish on Amazon yet. It is the PDF of How to Go to College Debt Free. It's book 1 in the series. This one is How to Find Scholarships K through College. And yes, there are scholarships for as young as kindergarten, college scholarships, and scholarships go all the way through professional school. So don't ever stop looking for free cash until the last parchment is in hand. There is money out there. Start looking now.
Wow. Wow. That is really, really good information to know. I wouldn't have thought to start looking at kindergarten. So that's a great tip in and of its own. So I hope everyone clicks on the link. The tech host just went ahead and popped it in there for you in the chat and get those free tips. Did you also have a VIP gift for us by any chance?
I do not have a VIP gift at this time, but I
Okay.
will be so happy to talk with any parents about what the steps are that they should be going through to help them get their kids set up. It is so wonderful. The peace that comes with the mom and dad when your kids have this going on for them is just wonderful.
That is so, so nice. I see people like Tiff saying, "Ooh, free preview, nice. What? Wow, great advice." Does anyone have any questions for Denise that you'd like to pop in the chat while we still have a few minutes left to gather from her expertise? Please feel free to. I'll definitely share those questions with her. We want to make sure that we get the most that we can out of this moment. So thank you so much. I love that. The three things that you were saying that colleges were looking for, will you pass, basically, or you get the grades, will you do what you need to do, what you're there for, basically, and make their school look good. And then understanding that they have clubs and things that they need to fit people into, and those organizations. I never would have thought about that part. I guess that's why a lot of parents focus on the sports and the things like that to make sure, oh, you can fit in this little niche or that little niche. But there's all kinds of other things besides sports, right?
Yeah. I mean, they've got chess clubs and karate clubs and just, literally hundreds of things, and religious organizations and cultural organizations. What your child is doing in their high school years, if there is something that they really love, and hopefully they'll find a college that offers that something as well. Because you've heard the all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Well, your kid needs an outlet that's a little bit of fun. I know college can be really hard and stressful for a lot of kids, especially if they're going into some of the tech fields. The STEM fields can be really stressful, but they've got to find some kind of outlet for themselves that they enjoy doing, that they can do while they're there in college, because stress is a big deal, especially in college. It can get really bad. So let's find something that they love to do. Find it earlier than waiting until junior year of high school to figure that out. Let's start in middle school and let's find out what floats their boat.
Yes, that's really, really great. Definitely. The sooner you can find something that they love, the better. It keeps them busy too.
True.
Mom of five, that's helpful. Yes, definitely. So up next, we are going to have, I believe it's Mariko Hirakawa, who's going to talk about how to feel and look younger with Ayurveda. So please stay tuned if you want to hear that talk. Make sure you go back out and click on the link to get to that. And before we go on to that and leave our wonderful talk here with Denise, I'd love to know, Denise, do you have one final word to share with our guests? Any last little tidbits that you can give us?
Yeah, I think if you take anything from this, it literally ignore what you hear, ignore the myths, ignore what you think you believe to be true about the high school to college process. Start early. That is the most important thing that you can do for your kids, is to start this process early as middle school, as I said. The rest of the country waits until junior and senior year, and they're leaving a lot of money on the table. Is that who I hear from most of the time? Absolutely. Talked to a gentleman yesterday. My daughter wants to go to XYZ college. It's going to cost, the cost of the college is $80,000 and they're only giving us $35,000. That means he's got to find 50 grand per year. That's $200,000. Think about the debt that is going to be for that child. There is no degree plan out there where his daughter is going to make anything that's going to be worth paying that debt when she gets out of school. She's not going to make 200 grand. Look, you can be an engineer. You're not making 200 grand until you're close to retiring. That's just a fact of life. Understand it now, take it to heart, write that puppy on paper. You have got to start early and you've got to make the right decisions. It's really important.
Wow. Yes. Thank you so much, Denise. That was so enlightening, so helpful. I hope everyone that's here and listening took down great notes. You got the freebie and that you stay in touch with Denise. Thank you again so much, Denise. We've loved having you here. This is Kay, wishing you guys all the best. On to the
Bye-bye.
next
Thank
one.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for another amazing session of the Voices of Women Summit, where our mission is to raise the voices of hundreds of women so their messages can be heard. For recordings of all sessions, plus an amazing VIP gift bundle, upgrade to VIP now. If you have any questions or problems during the summit, email our support team at support@voicesofwomensummit.com. Stay tuned. We have another fantastic speaker coming right up.